weekend, the third movie in the world of Shazam, Shazam! Fury of the Gods, drops in theaters. So today I'm going to stop and rank all three movies about characters getting wizard powers and lightning bolts on their chest, from the worst to the best. Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies and TV way too much. With that in mind, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. Share your ranking of all three movies. My list is not the right list, it's just my list, and I would love to see yours. One quick announcement. Next weekend, I'm going to be at Fan Expo Cleveland with John Flickinger and Austin Burke, and then the weekend after that, I'm going to be at MegaCon in Orlando with Cody Leach, Austin Burke, John Flickinger. Also on our stage is going to be Perri Nermiroff, as well as Jandreau, leading a bunch of panels, doing meet and greets, all of that fun stuff. If you are anywhere near Florida, you want to be there for MegaCon, and we have one more YouTuber that will be joining us on that stage, and you do not want to miss out on that. I'll have announcements on that in the near future. Details are down below in the description, and let's get started. In third place for me is going to be Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Now, if you saw my review from just a few days ago, I had fun with this film. I gave it a positive review, and I absolutely stand by that. The Shazam family here is just as fun as ever. Zachary Levi is fantastic as this man-child.
I just threw a truck at a dragon. I love my life.
In a superhero body, trying to hold the team together while having all the insecurities of a teenage boy trying to figure out life. There's some nice details of what they're able to do with the Shazam family, especially getting more Adam Brody in the mix. I love the fact that we're digging in deeper into the mythology of the wizards, where the powers came from, how all of that works, and just kind of fleshes out this world and the rules in a bunch of fun and exciting ways. The villains and villain scheme are more compelling, they're more interesting, they tie into the mythology and the previous film in ways that make sense, that make this movie just kind of feel a little bit more cohesive when it comes to on a plot level.
You are very menacing. I just want you to know that.
And all that's great. The action's bigger, more exciting, but I feel like in order to deliver the more compelling villain plot, bigger, bolder action, we traded what made the first movie unique and charming in order to get more generic, big, gigantic action sequences. Or as my buddy Cody Leach put it, we got yet another movie where good guys in capes punch bad guys in capes. And we've seen that before. I still have fun with it. I still like that kind of thing. I had a good time. Can't wait to watch it with my wife and kids. There's some nice details in there with the creatures that show up, but it also felt like, I've seen this movie before with people flying through cities like this, punching people. It touches on certain plot beats. There's, the villain. It was all part of the plan to get caught right out of Avengers, right out of The Dark Knight. There's a heroic sacrifice in the third act, right out of every single superhero movie. Like, it's just kind of all these things that you kind of expect to see when you kind of go for bigger, bolder, more epic superhero action. And so it lost that uniqueness about the idea of this goofy teenage boy getting to be a superhero, having all those weird, goofy antics. It's less antics, and there's more of the stuff that we see in a lot of other movies. So for me, I still had fun with it. It still made me laugh. I think it's a good movie, but it was the one that was the least interesting to me of this trilogy. Our runner-up, Black Adam. And I know a lot of people had their issues with this movie, whether saying that it felt like a movie that should have come out 10, 15 years ago, and was in production for 10, 15 years, or that was just kind of generic. I get all of that. I just had a lot of fun with the mythology, with The Rock as Black Adam, and in particular, the addition of the Justice Society. And I think it is kind of a few different little elements about the city and their efforts to kind of gain their freedom, combined with this anti-hero showing up, combined with these heroes show up, but the city doesn't perceive of them as heroes because they haven't helped them up to this point in time. All the kind of those little ingredients just kind of elevated this movie just a little bit for me. I enjoy it kind of on the same level that I like Shazam Fury of the Gods, in which case it is pretty generic in a lot of ways. I've seen a city in peril. I've seen these big, gigantic action set pieces many times before. I thought this one had a little bit more to it that kind of stood out to me. I got a little bit more out of it. And in particular, rewatching it just a day or two before I watched Shazam Fury of the Gods, I was like, yeah, I have a lot of fun with this movie. Can get generic. If someone says they're just tired of comic book movies and so this just didn't do anything new for them, I get that. I'm not going to try and convince you otherwise. I hear that and I go, that's fair. There's nothing I can tell you about this movie that would convince you otherwise, because that's a pretty fair synopsis. But I think in the origins of Black Adam as a protagonist here who's not actually all that heroic.
Heroes don't kill people. Well, I do.
As someone that kind of has deep regrets as to his own personal failings, his own issues and awareness of them. It's that to me is different enough to have something compelling about it.
You believe you are not worthy, but fate does not make mistakes.
I really liked, Dr. Fate as well as Hawkman, the way that they're characterized and the way they interact with each other, as well as the way they interact with Black Adam. And it's just enough humor in there. It moves fast enough. It doesn't overstay its welcome. So, as just a dumb blockbuster, I love it. But in first place, the first Shazam. And this is a movie that I was not sure was a great idea for a film. The first set photos that kind of came out of Zachary Levi in the suit came out very corny, very cheesy, and it wasn't entirely clear how this would fit in the world of the DCEU. And then I went to go see it, and it was just such a charming and refreshing addition to a very saturated market of superhero movies.
His name is Captain Sparklefingers.
Where instead of trying to be the biggest with the most exciting set pieces with the biggest threat to an entire city, no, it was a story about this boy trying to find a family and in the process becomes a superhero, and he's just as immature as anyone else. He's not really looking to save the world.
Dude, did you see that?
Yeah, you electrocuted a bus and almost killed these people.
And then I caught it!
And you kind of have so many fun antics that come with that, the insecurities that come between teenagers interacting with one another. And it ended up having so much more heart than I was expecting. That was the real surprise. Like Zachary Levi being funny, like as a man-child, I was kind of expecting that, and it delivers that. But then it really tells a good story about finding family. It has this heartbreaking scene with Billy discovering his mother and realizing that she abandoned him. And then, you feel something. You care about that journey and that he's finally accepted by this foster family that he finds, all culminating in Billy sharing his powers with his foster brothers and sisters. It's just like such a satisfying third act, without it needing to be this gigantic threat. I mean, they're just at this little fair battling these demon things. Like there aren't gigantic stakes here, but it's thrilling because you care about the people and what it means for their character arcs and their journey. That's why this movie worked for me. Totally, it can be a little bit inconsistent because it's like so juvenile with the Shazam doing the floss and then, demons eating people's heads. Pretty big shifts in tone there sometimes. But, other than that, just a movie that found a way to stand out by really leaning into what makes Shazam unique.
I'd like to purchase some of your finest beer, please.
It's a child, this kid in the foster system, who's also a superhero, makes that front and center, and therefore the movie stands out, and therefore it comes in at number 1. If you enjoyed this video, I did one where I ranked all 45 DC films. It was a huge endeavor. It was a ton of fun. You can check that out right over there. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies and TV too much. Bye-bye.